What are the top 5 reasons why my check engine light is on? On this channel I get asked all the time, hey, what does this code mean? Why is my check engine light on? So number 5 on my list of things that might trigger your check engine light is a bad catalytic converter. If you get a P0420 code or a P0430 code, one of the catalytic converters in your vehicle might be bad. So if one of the catalytic converters is broken up inside, it could clog the converter, which in turn could give you reduced power in the vehicle. Also, you might smell like sulfur smell, which usually smells like rotten eggs. It smells terrible. My father had an old Datsun back in the day, and that happened, and the thing was, you could smell it all the way down the road. It was brutal. So number 4 on my list is an EVAP system leak engine code. This can consist of like a loose gas cap, cracked EVAP hoses, or a bad canister solenoid, or a bad purge valve. We've replaced some of the stuff on the channel, especially in Brian's car. He had one go bad in this Escape, and I was throwing the check engine light for him. But yeah, if you have like a bad vent valve solenoid, it'll definitely chip an EVAP code or a bad emissions hose under the hood. These codes usually consist of a P0446, a P0449, or a P0455 code. So if you have any one of these codes, the car might run okay, unless you're trying to fill it up and the thing struggles like after you're done filling it up. Brian was experiencing this on his Escape. We had to change one of the vent valve solenoids on the back of that car. So number 3 we see all the time in the shop. This engine code is something like a P0300 or a P0306, which would point to a cylinder misfire code. So a lot of times the triggers these are like a bad coil, ignition coil, a bad spark plug wire, or a faulty spark plug. So if you get one of these codes, we'll try to dive into it and start with replacing the spark plugs first. And then if we have one cylinder misfire, you can kind of test the coil out by placing it on a different spark plug to see if the code moves. And if it does, it's probably a bad ignition coil, so it's a way to diagnose that one. So if that happens, you might have, a rough idle, or when you get on the car, you might get a hesitation or a skip, or something like that. So number 2 on my list is a bad O2 sensor. So when an O2 sensor goes bad, you'll more likely get a bad fuel economy on it. You may experience a rough idle. If you have a bad O2 sensor, you might also experience like a rough idle or a hesitation when you get on the gas. Codes that typically trigger the check engine light related to a bad O2 sensor are like a P0133, a P0135, a P0141, P0155. Those would all point to a bad O2 sensor on your vehicle. So the number 1 reason why your check engine light may be on is due to a bad gas cap, or a loose gas cap, a gas cap that might have a crack in it, or a no gas cap. So if there's not a tight seal, what happens is the gas vapors can escape, and it triggers the EVAP system to trigger the check engine light that there's not a tight seal within the EVAP system. That's why you get your dash light on. It's highly annoying. So check that first if you get an EVAP code. And now you have it. That's my top 5 reasons why your check engine light may be on. Hope this helps you out. If you have any questions, leave a comment. I will reply back to you. Thanks for checking us out, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Take it easy.